In baseball, when you run the bases, it's like life. When you get a single or a walk, that's the easiest base to get to. It's hard to get a double. Then when you get down to second, you think you know everything. And in my life, in my personal life, as I went to second, I ended up in left field.
In 1992, Rich Donnelly was the third base coach for the Pittsburgh Pirates. His daughter Amy was a senior in high school when Rich got a phone call he'll never forget.
It was in the afternoon right after a workout. And she says, I'm sorry, but I have a brain tumor. And I didn't know what to say. You don't practice having your daughter who's 17 in perfect health, beautiful girl, going to graduate from high school, go be a teacher, tell her dad that she's sorry for getting a brain tumor.
After surgery, Amy started chemotherapy. Doctors gave her 9 months to live. As fate would have it, the Pirates met the Atlanta Braves in the playoffs that year. A family friend flew Amy to Pittsburgh for Game 5.
After the game was over, she's in the back seat, and she just sticks her head up, and she says, Dad, she goes, when you get down in that stance with a man on second and you cup your hands, she says, what are you telling those guys? The chicken runs at midnight or what? And we just laughed. We just said, where'd you come up with that one at?
Amy returned to Arlington for treatment, and when Rich arrived at the ballpark the next day, there was a letter waiting for him.
He just said, Dear Dad, the chicken runs at midnight, love Amy.
I think I run at midnight.
The Pirates would fall in Game 7 of the playoffs. 2 months later, Amy fell into a coma.
I was sleeping one night, and about 4 o'clock in the morning, the doctor came in. He said, Rich, you got to come quick. He said, she's not going to make it through the night. And you have to, you never thought you'd have to walk in and tell your daughter goodbye. And that morning, about 20 minutes later, she passed away.
A chicken runs at midnight became the family motto and is engraved on Amy's tombstone in Texas. In 1997, Rich followed his boss, Jim Leyland, to Florida as the third base coach for the Marlins.
All of a sudden, we get in the playoffs, and all of a sudden, by Lord, we're in the World Series.
Rich's son, Tim, was the team's bat boy that year. He nicknamed infielder Craig Counsell the Chicken Man because of his batting stance. The '97 World Series would go to a Game 7. In the bottom of the 11th, the Marlins and Indians are tied.
Craig Counsell scores a winning run, and 68,000 people are just crazy.
In the midst of the celebration, Rich found his son Tim.
And he's screaming. His face is red, tears are coming down. What's wrong with you? We just won. He said, Dad, look. I said, look where? He said, look behind you at the clock. The stadium clock behind where I coached third base. And I looked up. It was 12 o'clock midnight. He said, Dad, the chicken ran at midnight.
It's been over 20 years since Rich lost Amy, but her story lives on. Rich takes every opportunity he gets to inspire strangers with her strength and encourage his players with her love.
I always tell people, you know, she wanted to be a teacher. She's the best teacher I ever had. She, during the 9 months, or during the 17 years, she taught me how to live. And during those last months, she taught me how to die.
Somebody, goes through anything off the field, it kind of, makes us realize how lucky we are. And, so that's special. He definitely doesn't take it for granted. And, I guess none of us really, do either.
I guess you can't explain how much you love somebody until, I guess, you experience fatherhood. It's a different kind of love.
She's made life simpler. She's with me every day and everything I do.
Michelle Ludtka.
And that's just the way it is. She's with me.
Cue It Up Sports.